Thanks for that, Sharon. Right, I would now call upon John and Sue to come forward to read the eulogy which Harry himself wrote.
This is Pop's eulogy which he wrote, to be read at my funeral, if you wish. Welcome to my farewell. This is no time for grief or sadness, for I have had, so far, a long and full life. I am writing this in my 67th year, 1992, when I am in full possession of my wits and faculties, although some of you may have questioned that. Now, unfortunately you're not able to see his coffin at the moment, but there are some photos over there of his coffin which he created himself. But he says, I hope you like my coffin. I find it very comfortable. Built from a tree that I planted, nurtured and felled myself. It is a pretty heavy construction. I hope that I have lasted long enough for my grandsons to be big enough to carry me in it. And actually, latterly, he was worried he might have lasted too long because the borer was getting into it. I trust that anything that might be saved by this project will be used to plant more trees. I'd like you now to read the prayer of a tree.
The prayer of a tree. Ye who would pass by and raise your hand against me, hearken ere you harm me. I am the heat of your hearth on the cold winter nights, the friendly shade screening you from the summer sun. And my fruits are refreshing draughts, quenching your thirst as you journey on. I am the beam that holds your house, the board of your table, the bed on which you lie, and the timber that built your boat. I am the handle of your home, the door of your homestead, the wood of your cradle, the shell of your coffin. I am the gift of God and friend of man.
I sincerely thank all those who have shared with and consequently have had to bear all the differences, difficulties and oddities that have been me. If the law of averages prevail, then my dear wife Joan will be here to see me off, and to her who has lived with me longest, it is she who has had to bear the most travail. A better wife, mother and homemaker it would be difficult to find. I have been so well cared for, and in her tranquil company have known a peace and comfort that many a man would envy. Thank you, dear Joan. To our children, you have been our pride and joy. There is little that you have done that we are aware of that we would be ashamed of. If your children are as good to you as you have been to us, then you will have much to be thankful for. Up till now, at least 1992, we believe we have been no great burden to you all. But this is not likely to last, and we trust that in the years to come we may grow old graciously, and we know we will continue to enjoy your company and support. Indeed they did. It has. No greater pleasure has been mine than to be with you on the farm and in the hills. Thank you, Gillian, John, Susan and Beth. To my sons-in-law and daughter-in-law, it has been good to know you. Care for your mates. You've got yourselves a good deal. To my grandchildren, I hope there is still much time for us, from the time that I write, to have fun together and to tramp in the hills. Your grandma and I will rely on your friendship and help in the years to come. Although hardly a pioneer, I had the satisfaction of developing a farm pretty much from the raw, and of building 2 homes, our log house bringing much satisfaction, not without much help, I might add. For many years I have been grateful to be born in this era, that I was born in New Zealand, and to have had the parents and grandparents that I had. As young children, we passed through the Depression, knowing little of the hardships that I know our parents must have felt. But because of it, we learnt to be more frugal, less wasteful, and more thankful for the better times that were to come. Growing up between the two great wars in a country free from such a scourge, I have been fortunate indeed. I have been glad to have worked horses before tractors became commonplace. I have been able to tramp over ranges where now four-wheel drive tracks have somewhat destroyed the sanctity. I've seen large herds of deer in the wild, an experience that my children and grandchildren are not likely to see. Maybe I have trod where no one has been before. I've been able to drink the water from almost any stream, believing it to be pure and unpolluted. I've always worked for the preservation of our native forests, and if there is one enthusiasm that I would like to pass on, it is that. We have been able to use our cars, travel where we wish, and use petrol extravagantly. I wonder if future generations will be able to be so profligate. To tramp and to climb has been a great joy. My thanks to my many climbing mates. Away in the past, Bruce Anderson and Dave Sylvester. More recently, George Tuff, Tony Presto, Tony Stevens, Bill Burton, and so many others. Hope you are still able to enjoy the hills. I have been a man of weak faith. My long years as a Baha'i have given me no certainty as to the future. Good enough for me if I am remembered by family and friends with a little pleasure, and perhaps for the trees that I have planted. There is much that I would have done that has not been done. Hopefully there is still time to achieve some of my goals. One of my keenest disappointments was not to have climbed Mount Cook. We actually put the map in his coffin with him, just so in case. However, I have been richly blessed in what I have been able to do. I'd like to quote from a great climber whose best days were over.
What if I live no more those kingly days? Their night's sleep will be still. I dream my feet upon the starry ways. My heart rests in the hill. I may not grudge the little left undone. I hold the heights, I keep the dreams I won.
It may be many years after I write this that you will read it, but we never know the day or the hour. Whenever, I hope it will still be largely appropriate. Forgive me my transgressions. My love to you all. Bye now. Husband, father, grandpops, great-grandpops, uncle and friend. Harry.